Hi, little restorative yoga for you today. If you want music for this, you can use your own playlist, generally something without words, especially for the more restorative shapes. I find that less distracting. If you are on Spotify and you want one of my playlists, there's one called Virtual Restorative that I really like, so you could try that one. Um, but maybe you have something of your own that you want to listen to, and that's good too. Today, we'll probably need, or we will need, a wall if you're close to a wall, or a chair, a couch, anything you can put your legs um, at least part way up, even if it's up and over, that's fine. And a bolster or some pillows, some blankets, or even just some towels that you can roll or fold. All of those things work. If you have yoga blocks, those are always good too. So we'll start today on our backs. And if you need to stop this and get any of those things, that's the beauty of virtual practice. You can do that. So we'll start on our backs. And once you get there, if you want to use any of the props that you have, you're more than welcome to. Maybe you have a pillow or even just a rolled blanket that you want to put down your spine and just lay back over it. Just finding a comfortable place to bring your mind into focus, your body into stillness. Feeling the support of whatever's underneath you. Knowing that there's nowhere else to be right now but here. Taking the next hour or so just to look inward, find focus, just taking that time for yourself. Beginning to notice any sensations. Noticing sounds far away, close by. Starting to bring your attention to the sounds inside your own body. Your heartbeat, your breath, just the rhythmic nature of those sounds. Noticing the movement they create, any sensations associated with that movement. Pulling all your awareness inside. Much easier said than done. But just bringing a little awareness to that, some conscious thoughts will help get a little closer to that goal. Beginning to bring even more awareness to your breath, pulling in some really deep breaths, letting them go. Just taking in a couple more like that. Maybe pulling in big breaths, filling up through your lungs, out through your ribs, up into your collarbones, and then sighing them out through your mouth. Again, big breaths in through your nose, sighing them out through your mouth. Taking one more like that on your own. And starting to bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. If that bolster has your arms too high for this, you can just set that aside for now. Feeling your breath as it moves into that space of your belly, your chest, up into your collarbones. We're going to take a 3-part breath today, starting off filling into our bellies, then out through our ribs and up into our collarbones. Finding that natural pause at the top and then exhaling everything out. Again, finding that natural pause at the bottom. So starting together here, just starting to take in a breath, sending it deep down into your belly, and then a little more out through your ribs, and even more filling all the way up into those collarbones, way up high. That natural pause at the top, and then exhaling everything out. That pause at the bottom. Again, deep into your belly, out through your ribs, and up through your collarbones. And then exhaling in the reverse, feeling that your upper chest come down, your ribs come in, your belly coming down. Again, inhaling deep into your belly, out through your ribs, up into your collarbones. That pause. And then exhaling, feeling your chest fall, your ribs come in, your belly fall. One more like that. Deep out and up. And then exhaling. Keeping your hands where they are, just starting to find a smooth inhale and exhale. Maybe a 4 count in, 4 count out. Feeling your breath move through you, moving your body. Letting your breath be your guide through this practice, whether it's through movement or stillness. It can still be the driving force. Allowing it to be a focus, source of energy, and just a soothing presence. Starting to reach your arms long, stretching toes and fingers, taking a full body stretch here, maybe stretching one side a little longer, and then switching to the other. And then starting to take your feet and your hands over towards the right corners of your mat. So making a crescent shape with your body. You can cross your left ankle over your right, and your right fingers can reach for your left wrist. Just trying to keep both your hips down, both your shoulders down, but emphasizing that curve, opening up through the left side body. As you inhale, really expanding out through the ribs on the left. Coming back through center, switching to the other side. So this time sending arms and legs over towards the opposite corners, the left corners of your mat. Again, making that curve with your spine, left hand reaching for right wrist, right foot crossing over left. Those right ribs really expanding with your inhales. Coming back through center again and starting to just bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Keeping them about hip width distance apart and just windshield wipering your legs back and forth. When your legs fall to one side, let your neck, your head look to the other. So when those legs fall over to the right, just turning your head to the left, being gentle with your neck, with your hips, moving to your breath, keeping that movement smooth, And slow. Once you've evened that out, coming back to center and pulling your knees into your chest. Once you find yourself in that hug shape, just rocking side to side across your lower back, your spine, your tailbone, maybe moving your knees around a little to get that pressure across different points of your back. Letting your left sole of the foot come down to the mat, sending your right foot up towards the ceiling, and just rolling out your ankle. Getting all those pops and cracks out. And then reversing. Pointing through your toes, getting that stretch through the front side of your leg. And then flexing, pulling your toes back. This time that stretch all the way down the back of your leg. Letting the right sole of your foot come back down and switching, sending the left leg up. Rolling out this ankle, pops and cracks all coming out. And then reversing. Pointing through your toes. Again, that stretch all the way down the front of your leg. And then flexing, pulling your toes back towards your body. That stretch starting up near the arch of your foot, over your heel, down the back of your leg, into your hamstrings, maybe even into your glutes. Pulling your knees back into your chest and either rocking and rolling on your spine if that feels good, or just coming to your side to find your way up to a seat. So if those rocks and rolls on your spine feel good, taking a few of those. That's different for me every day, whether those feel good. So just seeing how they feel today, not judging. Once you get to a seat, just placing one foot in front of the other. On an inhale, bringing arms up tall overhead. Taking a couple of breaths to movement here. Left arm coming down, right arm going over on your exhale. Inhale, reaching tall. And then exhale, right hand down, left arm over. Again, inhaling tall. And exhale, left hand down, opening up through that right side body. Inhale, back up. And exhale, right hand down, opening through your left side body. Coming back up on an inhale, and this time twisting right hand to left knee. Looking over that left shoulder, trying not to put too much weight in that back hand. Sometimes I pick up my back hand and just wrap it behind my back. Helps me keep my spine straight and helps me keep too much pressure out of my hand for sure. Inhales, helping you to find length in your spine. And exhales, just taking you a little deeper in that twist. Coming back through center. Again, reaching tall, creating that space in your torso before you twist left hand to right knee. Those inhales again, helping you reach tall. And exhales, just helping you ring out with this twist. Maybe you take that wrap with your arm, maybe not. Unwinding, coming back through center. Again, just finding that tall spine, taking an inhale in and sighing it out. Again, inhaling and sighing it out. On your next inhale, arms coming up. And as you exhale, cactusing your arms out, opening up through your chest, pulling those elbows back. Again, inhale, arms up tall. Exhale, bringing those arms back down for cactus. Maybe your head falls back, gaze goes up. Inhale again, this time bringing your hands down behind your hips, fingertips facing forward and opening through your chest. So that may just be with those hands down, pulling your shoulders back and looking up, or you can press into your shins, lifting your hips, letting your head come back, being careful of your neck. Letting your hips come back down and starting to find your way to tabletop. Once you get there, stacking your joints, finding that straight spine. On an inhale, dropping your belly, letting your hips, head, and shoulders rise. As you exhale, rounding through your spine. Again, just moving through cat-cow for a couple of breaths. Once you've done that, maybe starting to find some intuitive movement. Closing your eyes, finding some barrel rolls or some figure eights. Staying with your breath. Coming back to neutral once you've evened out any movements you're doing. And just starting to take that right foot back, pushing into the ball of your foot, shifting back a little bit, feeling that stretch all the way down the back of that right leg. Picking up your right foot, crossing it over towards that back left corner of your mat. And then starting to just bring your left shoulder and your left hip a little closer together. You can look over your shoulder, but the goal here is just to get shoulder and hip a little closer, really opening through your right side body and starting to activate those muscles on the left side of your waist. You should feel a little pinch there. Coming back to center, letting your right knee come down, and then sending your left foot back. Shifting your hips, your shoulders back, feeling that stretch down the back of your left leg. Picking up your left foot, crossing it over. And again, just bringing right hip and right shoulder a little closer together. Checking in with your breath. Coming back to that 4-count breath. As even inhales and exhales. Releasing out of that, your left knee coming back down, and then taking your knees wide and sitting your hips back for child's pose. Letting your arms reach out long. Letting your spine relax, your hips open just a little. Keeping your left hand forward and starting to thread your right arm under. So just finding that threaded needle variation here, keeping your left shoulder down, that left armpit still coming down towards the mat, sole of your palm of your right hand facing up. Getting a stretch on the back of that right shoulder, right tricep. A little compression at that corner of your chest between your right shoulder and your chest. Coming back up, switching, sending your right arm forward and threading that left arm under. This time the left palm faces up, right shoulder is down. Feeling that stretch on the back of your right arm, corner of your right chest. Starting to unwind, sending both arms forward again, forehead down on the mat. And then just coming up to sit on your heels. Once you get there, taking your arms, wrapping one on top of the other, reaching for your shoulders or maybe even for your shoulder blades, but whichever works for you. If your hands are just on your shoulders or if you're reaching around a little further. And then rounding your back, bringing your chin down towards your chest, feeling that opening across your back, down your spine. Coming back up to your straight spine, opening your arms wide, and then switching to place the opposite arm on top, giving yourself a hug again, reaching for your shoulders, your shoulder blades, and starting to round your spine, chin coming down towards your chest. Releasing, stretching wide again. Coming back into that tabletop shape. I'll do some wrist stretches here. So starting off by turning one or both hands, depending on what your body can tolerate. So your fingertips are facing back towards your knees, palms are facing up. So you may do this one palm at a time. I like to curl my toes under and then sit back a little. I get a little bit of a toe stretch as well. You want to try to keep your arms straight, getting that stretch down what I would call the front side of your wrist, front side of your forearms, I guess. If you're doing one hand at a time, going ahead and switching. And then releasing out of that and placing your palms down, but keeping those fingers faced back towards your knees. And again, maybe doing one hand at a time if it's a little too much. You'll probably be able to sit back a little further this time. Again, keeping those elbows straight. And this time you'll feel it down the back side of your wrist. If you're doing one hand at a time, going ahead and switching. Coming forward to release out of that, uncurling your toes, just shaking your wrists out. From here, just moving back to a seat, bringing your feet out wide in front of you, soles of your feet together, maybe reaching for a block. I didn't say this in the beginning, but a shoebox is a great substitute for a block as well. And placing the block either on your feet or just behind your heels, depending on how far out your feet are, and starting to fold forward. Allowing this release through your spine, your Shoulders relaxing, neck relaxing. Coming back up, placing your any props aside, and finding your way back down onto your back. Once you get here, again, pulling your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. And letting your left leg go long, keeping that right leg pulled in. Feeling that compression between your chest, your thigh, your belly. And then finding a twist. Maybe shifting those hips over to the right a little bit before just letting your knees fall over to the left. You can stack your knees, even placing a block in between to make it a little more gentle, more restorative. Right hand coming out long from your shoulder. Those inhales finding length, and exhales finding depth. Coming back onto your spine, squaring everything up, and then taking your right leg and just crossing it over your left, like you were sitting at a table, like you're crossing your legs sitting at a table. And then starting to let both knees tip over to the left. That right sole of the foot will come down onto the floor, and your bottom knee, which is your left knee, that leg will just be flat on the mat. You can put your left hand to your right wrist and maybe open up that chest towards the right a little bit, gazing to the right. This should be a stretch down the outside of that right leg. Coming back to your breath. It's easy, flowing movements in and out. Your breath washing in and rinsing out. Again, releasing from this shape. Coming onto your spine again, letting your right leg go long and pulling your left leg in. Feeling that compression. And then starting to just move your hips over a little to the left, letting your legs fall to the right. Opening your upper body towards the left as you look over your left shoulder. Putting a block or a blanket in between your knees will make this a little more gentle on your hips. Again, coming back onto your spine. This time crossing your left leg over your right. And then dropping your knees over towards the right sole of your left foot coming down. Right hand can come to that left ankle. And your right knee coming down as well. Maybe more than your body needs to open up to the left, gazing over that left shoulder. But if not, you can add that in as well. This is a big stretch down the outside of that left leg. So focusing on your breath. Inhales, bringing in what we need. The exhales, rinsing out what we don't. Maybe releasing a little bit more with each exhale. Relaxing through your hips, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your face. Letting everything soften. Releasing from this shape, coming back onto your spine, taking your feet wide on the mat, and windshield wipering your legs back and forth. One more time. Coming back to center and starting to find your way up to a seat. We're going to take several restorative shapes, and I am going to leave you in the last shape of Shavasana and in the video at the beginning of Shavasana. So you can take that rest, that restoration for as long as you'd like. Our first restorative shape is going to be legs up the wall. So the easiest way to get to legs up the wall, first of all, if you want to have anything underneath your hips, if you're on a cushy surface, you probably don't need anything. If you're not, you may want something underneath your tailbone. So just placing a blanket or your mat up against a wall or the chair, your bed, whatever you're using for a prop, and then scooting one hip or the other up towards the wall, like getting it really close up towards the wall, and then spinning your legs up, your torso down, and it still takes some shimmying to get into that shape. Letting your legs either extend up the wall or up and over the chair, couch, whatever you're using. Trying to keep yourself as close to the wall as you can to start. Letting your arms come long beside you. Just feeling everything start to settle. Your spine heavy on the mat. Feeling all the support. Knowing that you're fully supported wherever you are in this shape. Again, there's nowhere else that you need to be right now, just here. Allowing everything to start to drain back towards center. Finding that stillness, feeling your breath moving in and out. We'll stay here for 5 or 6 more minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to move. this this shape is serving you and you want to continue here, I highly encourage you to do that. But if you want to move on to the next shape, just starting to bring your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, very gently, releasing through your spine, your back, just a little bit. And then starting to come to one side or the other. And for this next shape, we're going to do a side lying shape. You'll want either a relatively soft bolster or a blanket or a towel. I say soft because if you have a firm bolster, it can just be a lot on the body. I'll show you with this one. But what we're going to do is whatever prop you're using, bringing your bottom leg up so that it's almost touching that bolster, and then starting to just lay your body across it. You want to try to have both your hip and your shoulder down, and that's where the density of that prop is going to make a difference. So if you can get your hip and your shoulder down in this shape, then you probably have the right prop. Once you find that shape, you can kind of make a pillow with your bottom arm, your bottom leg. Just want to have your hips stacked. And you can decide if you want to keep this really restorative with both knees stacked, or if you want to send that top leg back a little bit. When you send your top leg back, you're getting into your top hip just a little or a lot, depending on how much you move that leg back. But you can adjust that, see where the shape is for you today. Your top arm can wrap around behind you for a chest opener, or again, more restorative, just bringing it into your body. So just seeing how this shape works for you today. Maybe you do it in a way that is opening your hips a little bit, but keeping your shoulders square. Or maybe you're opening both hips and shoulders, or maybe neither. All of those are options. All of those are good options. And the best one is the one that works in your body. Just staying here just for a couple of minutes on each side. Coming back to your breath, inhales and exhales. Moving in and out, smooth, slow, steady. Starting to find just enough movement to switch to the other side. So maybe just rolling to the other side. It's definitely the easiest way to get there. I'm just switching so you can still see me. Just double checking that your hip, your shoulder are down. This shape may feel fairly different on the side, so just taking it as two separate needs from your body from side to side, seeing what you need. Not judging, they don't have to be the same. They can be entirely different if need be. Again, your breath smooth and slow, letting it be a point of focus, maybe visualizing it, moving in and filling up and washing out, creating space, taking out what's no longer needed. Just a few more breaths here. The last shape we'll take before Shavasana is just a little bit of a back bend. So again, you'll probably just want a folded blanket or a towel for this one, and it's just going to be under your back. It doesn't take much for most of us to feel a back bend, so you may be surprised at how little you need. So maybe taking the blanket with one less fold than you anticipated needing, sinking down. Again, trying to have both your tailbone and your shoulder blades down on the mat. You may be able to extend your legs, or that may be too much on your spine. So bending them, sending your feet wide, letting your knees tip in to support your spine might be a better option. We'll just take a couple of minutes here in this shape before Shavasana. Feeling your chest rise and fall. Allowing for that smooth movement, bringing your awareness all to your breath. Just sliding that prop down so that when you straighten your legs, it's under your knees. A little support for your spine. If you'd rather not have anything under your knees, that's always an option too. But just starting to find your shape for Shavasana. The best shape for Shavasana is the one that allows you to find stillness, find focus. So moving around, using any props you have to create that shape for yourself. If you have an eye pillow or something to cover up your eyes, placing that over your eyes now. If you have anything heavy, you could even do a book wrapped in a towel, or even just a book, placing it on your chest. Cats work really well for this too, if you have a cooperative cat. But starting to sink down, feel that stillness. Taking a body scan, starting at your toes, the tops of your feet, your ankles, shins and calves, just releasing as you go. Your knees, thighs, your hips. Pausing there for that release. Your belly, your chest, your shoulders, letting them fall away from your ears, your jaw, lips, teeth, and tongue, your cheeks. Letting your whole face soften and release. Feeling that release through your whole body. And then finding that release in your mind, letting everything go. Staying with your breath. Staying in this shape, maybe for the rest of the song that's playing, or just as long as your mind needs you there, and your body will let you stay. All the movement in yoga is just to get to this finishing prize of Shavasana. So taking it in for all it's worth, this release, this relaxation. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.